So it's that time again where I'm doing another video review, mainly because I'm bored and have nothing else to do with my time, and also my viewers keep demanding more, and well, you know, I guess I have to provide them with something over time. But anyway, as you can see, the game is Mass Effect 2. And, you know, starting where I usually start with this sort of thing, we're going to dive right in. So, graphics. As you can see, it looks pretty damn good. Now, I was running this everything max setting 1680 by 1050 on my system, getting a full 60 frames per second, absolutely constant, no slowdown whatsoever. This was with VSync on, and I haven't played it with it off, so I don't know what its max was, or if it fluctuates that much. But yeah, it works really well, and I never saw any slowdown during the game. However, I will say when I loaded up a save, it would maybe start at around 30 and slowly climb up to 60 over the space of about 5 to 10 seconds. Other than that, you know, the graphics, there was no slowdown or jittering or anything like that. Now with the actual visuals in the game, it's very crisp and it looks really good, and you have this really sort of future feel from it. I don't know how exactly they managed that when they were producing it, but that's what it is. You know, it looks great, the textures and everything look really good. However, when you do get up close, it suffers from what all console ports suffer from, in that you're not expected to be looking that close at the textures, so they do get a bit grainy up close. But you really can't pull it on that, because a lot of the time, unless you know, you glitch into something, which can happen, you won't be looking that closely at the textures. Another thing with graphics is that the character detail. Characters in this game look really, really good. I'll say it as that much. But you can definitely tell that when they were producing it, they put a lot more effort into some characters than others. Now, case in point in this, and I don't think I've shown her in many places in the video, that's her back right there, but Miranda, one of the characters, looks absolutely brilliant, and you can tell they put pretty much all of their focus in there, whereas there are some other characters which are just full of jaggies and look really low res all the time. I really don't know what else to say about that. Now, just quickly, sound, the guns and everything sound great in this game. They sound futuristic, they sound like they pack a punch. All of the abilities seem to fit their form. Biotic powers have a great sort of whoosh feel to them. I really can't describe it any better than that, I'm afraid. In terms of story, Mass Effect 2 picks up right where the first one left off, or I should say initially, and then it jumps 2 years ahead. Turns out everything's gone pear-shaped again, and you're in to save the galaxy once again, and, you know, do the usual RPG thing of save everything, kill everything, and so on, and be a total good guy or a complete badass, depending on how you think you should do it. The film you're seeing here is from my second playthrough. The first one I was a good guy, second one I was a bad guy.
So, you're saying I'm poor? Just because I'm not as well off as you doesn't mean you can hold yourself above me.
What? No,
Hey, everyone! This store discriminates against the poor!
Please, calm down.
In terms of the actual gameplay in Mass Effect 2, a lot of people are going into this thinking, you know, it's an RPG and whatnot, which is very true. It is an RPG, it's a role-playing game. You play as Shepard, or your own interpretation of Shepard, I guess you could say. But it's really an RPG masquerading as a third-person shooter, or alternatively, a third-person shooter masquerading as a first-person shooter masquerading as an RPG. If I haven't confused you by now, well, congratulations to you. What I'm trying to say is the shooting elements in this game are really, really good. However, it's very clear that they were trying to appeal to the first-person shooter crowd just by the way that the third-person mechanics work. The way I really noticed this in the game is that when I would aim, you know, do a precise aim, so get that little bit better distance and be able to see a little bit more on the screen, with my weapons, the center point of the crosshairs would not be in the exact same space, so they're doing it from an eye-line perspective instead of the over-shoulder perspective, which is a typical first-person thing. Now, it's not a problem, and you quite easily and quickly learn to compensate for it, but that's the only real issue I have with the shooting mechanics. It has a cover system in the game. Now, this does work quite well for your character. However, there are times where you will inadvertently jump over something, jump up onto something, or glitch on top of something and then get stuck. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Your AI buddies are pretty smart most of the time. However, they can be remarkably stupid in such a way that they will run directly into oncoming fire and not take cover. Sometimes they'll use their abilities really well on their own, and other times they won't use them at all. And at times the enemy AI can be the same, walking straight up to you. Now I understand that there are some berserkers who are trying to do this on purpose with shotguns, but others sort of just stand there and don't do anything. But overall the AI is actually quite good, and it does seek cover and work quite well. Conversations in the game. Now, this is Mass Effect, and it's a very, very cinematic experience. Now, I will just say, because I really can't put any more words into it, the conversations are as brilliant as they ever were. Fast, funny, really involving and great. Now, there is some new minigames in here, which you're seeing on the screen right now. 2, actually, and I'm pretty sure that's about it in terms of actual, in the game. Hacking and bypassing. So one of them you have to find 3 different segments of code, and the other one you have to join the little links on the circuit board, and they bypass. Now they're quite good ideas, but they get old pretty quick. But they don't take long to do, and they're never that hard, so that's okay.
The plague. Investigating possible use as bioweapon. No, too many guns.
Love of God, take a breath.
In terms of bugs and glitches in Mass Effect 2, the game never crashed on me, and there would be some, a bug or a glitch, I guess you could say, where sometimes taking cover I would get propelled into the ceiling. Now usually this wasn't an issue, because as soon as I broke cover I'd be killed anyway, especially on the harder difficulty, and I usually thought it was kind of funny, but it did get annoying on occasion. However, it only happened 2 serious times where I couldn't get down. But other than that, there are really no technical issues with the game. The main issue that I have with Mass Effect 2, however, is that it's conforming to the current trend in game design, that they think that simpler is better. Personally, I really do not like this in any game that I come across it, especially in an RPG. I don't want to be shoehorned into a specific role or type of play just because that's how the experience, should be, and that's how they think I should play. Especially in an RPG, it's meant to be a role-playing game, so you play how you want to play. Well, I want to play how I want to play. The main thing in this regards to here is pretty much everything to do with customization. Your character, in terms of armor and stuff, it's very limited unless you got, a pre-purchase special like download code. You have 1 suit of armor throughout the entire game. Now you can find piece upgrades, so shoulder pads and stuff like that. But I only ever found 3 of them throughout my entire 2 playthroughs, and they provided little to no bonuses. I think the most I ever got out of them was maybe plus 5% ammo, and plus 5% something, and it was really just not worth it, especially for how much they cost when you find them at vendors. Another thing is that it's the same with the character or class customization. You're very, very restricted in what abilities your character has. Each class is very much restricted, and they can only use the specific weapons given to those classes. So for my second playthrough, that was a submachine gun and a pistol and a heavy weapon. And given that submachine guns and pistols are pretty much the exact same thing, it's just one fires on rapid fire, it really was not particularly fun. Now, the soldier is obviously the best chance for this because you get to use all the weapons, but it's just not fair how you're shoehorned into using only these things. And furthermore, the weapons, you can only ever find maybe 1 or 2 upgrades for them throughout the game. Now, you can purchase upgrades that they don't change how the weapons act in terms of, their physical look and how they sound. But the only differences in weapons is maybe 1 or 2 different guns that you find for each class, and it is really quite annoying. What I'm really trying to say about Mass Effect 2 is that it is a really fun game if you discount all of these things and just play it. Now, for my first playthrough where I was just going at it and I hadn't even thought of doing a review, it was really, really fun and moving. For my second, where I was thinking about all this stuff, it's a really restricted game, but it is quite fun. If you can look past it, it will be great.
Just once, I'd like to ask someone for help and hear them say, sure, let's go, right now, no strings attached.